Lisa Martinez woke up early on Saturday morning, her heart full of excitement. Today was the day she had been waiting for since her daughter Amy started college 4 years ago. Graduation day had finally arrived, and Lisa could hardly believe. Her little girl was about to become a college graduate with a degree in engineering. She looked over at her husband Kevin, who was still sleeping beside her. They had been married for 22 years, and Lisa thought they had a good life together. They lived in a nice house in Denver with a white fence and a small garden that Lisa loved to tend. Kevin worked as an accountant at a busy firm downtown, and Lisa worked part-time at the local library. They had always been a team, working together to give Amy the best life possible. Lisa quietly got out of bed and walked to the kitchen. She wanted to make a special breakfast for the family before they left for the ceremony. As she started cooking pancakes and bacon, she thought about how proud she was of Amy. Getting through engineering school was not easy, especially for a young woman. Amy had worked so hard, staying up late to study and spending weekends in the lab. Now all that hard work was going to pay off. The smell of breakfast cooking filled the house, and soon Amy came downstairs, her hair still messy from sleep but her eyes bright with excitement. "I can't believe this is really happening, Mom," Amy said, giving Lisa a big hug. 4 years of studying, and now I'm finally done." "You did it, sweetheart," Lisa said, hugging her daughter tight. "Your dad and I are so proud of you. You worked harder than anyone I know." Amy sat at the kitchen table and started eating the pancakes Lisa had made. "Are Grandma and Grandpa still coming today?" she asked. "Yes, they flew in from Phoenix yesterday. They're staying at the hotel near campus and they'll meet us at the ceremony. They're just as excited as we are," Lisa said, smiling as she thought about Kevin's parents. They had always been wonderful to Amy, sending her care packages during exams and calling every week to check on her. Kevin finally came downstairs, but he seemed different somehow. He was quiet and didn't smile when he saw Amy eating breakfast. Lisa thought maybe he was just nervous about the big day. Sometimes Kevin got stressed about important events. "Good morning, honey," Lisa said, kissing Kevin on the cheek. "I made your favorite breakfast. Are you excited about today?" "Yeah, sure," Kevin said, but his voice sounded flat. He sat down at the table and started eating, but he kept looking at his phone instead of talking to Amy about her graduation. Amy noticed her father's strange mood, too. "Dad, are you okay? You seem worried about something." "I'm fine," Kevin said, quickly, not looking up from his phone. "Just thinking about work stuff." Lisa felt a little worried, but she didn't want anything to spoil Amy's special day. She had been planning this day for weeks, making sure everything would be perfect. She had made reservations at Amy's favorite restaurant for dinner after the ceremony. She had bought a new dress and had her hair done at the salon yesterday. She had even ordered a special cake with Amy's name and "Congratulations, Graduate" written on it. After breakfast, they all went upstairs to get ready. Lisa put on her new blue dress and looked at herself in the mirror. She thought she looked nice for a 45-year-old woman. She and Kevin had been through a lot together over the years, but they had always supported each other. When Kevin was studying for his accounting license, Lisa worked extra hours to help pay the bills. When Lisa wanted to go back to school to get her library science degree, Kevin encouraged her and helped take care of Amy. As Lisa was putting on her earrings, she heard Kevin talking on the phone in their bedroom. His voice was very quiet, almost like he was whispering. She couldn't hear what he was saying, but something about the way he was talking made her feel uneasy. When she walked into the bedroom, Kevin quickly hung up the phone. "Who was that?" Lisa asked. "Just someone from work," Kevin said, not looking at her. "They had a question about a client." Lisa thought it was strange that someone from work would call on a Saturday morning, especially on Amy's graduation day, but she didn't want to start an argument. This day was too important. When they were all ready to leave, Lisa looked at her family standing by the front door. Amy looked beautiful in her white dress, holding her cap and gown carefully so they wouldn't get wrinkled. Kevin was wearing his best suit, but he still seemed distant and kept checking his phone. "Let's take a picture before we go," Lisa said, pulling out her camera. "I want to remember this moment forever." They stood together on the front porch, and Lisa asked a neighbor to take their photo. Amy was smiling so big that her whole face was glowing. Lisa was smiling too, thinking about how happy she was. But when she looked at the picture later, she noticed that Kevin wasn't really smiling. His mouth was turned up, but his eyes looked sad or worried. The drive to the university took about 30 minutes. Lisa talked the whole time about how excited she was and how proud Amy should feel. She talked about Amy's job interviews and how many companies wanted to hire her. She talked about maybe having a party at home next weekend to celebrate with all their friends and neighbors. Kevin drove in silence. A few times, Lisa tried to get him to join the conversation, asking him questions about Amy's future or about how proud he must feel. But Kevin just gave short answers like yes or that's nice and kept his eyes on the road. Amy was sitting in the back seat, and Lisa could see in the mirror that she was starting to notice her father's strange behavior. Amy looked confused and a little worried. Lisa didn't want Amy to be upset on her graduation day, so she kept talking cheerfully, trying to keep the mood happy. When they got to the university, the parking lot was full of families just like theirs. Parents were taking pictures. Graduates were putting on their caps and gowns, and everyone looked excited and happy. Lisa felt her heart swell with pride as she watched Amy put on her graduation gown. This was the moment she had dreamed about for so long. "You look perfect, sweetheart," Lisa said, adjusting Amy's cap. "I love you so much." "I love you too, Mom," Amy said, hugging her mother. "Thank you for everything you've done for me." Lisa looked around for Kevin to join their hug, but he was standing a few feet away, looking at his phone again. She walked over to him and took his arm. "Come on, honey," she said. "Let's go find our seats. This is Amy's big day." Kevin put his phone away and followed Lisa and Amy toward the graduation ceremony. But Lisa couldn't shake the feeling that something was very wrong. She just didn't know what it was yet. The graduation ceremony was held in the big auditorium on campus. Lisa, Kevin, and Kevin's parents found their seats about 20 minutes before the ceremony started. The place was packed with families, all dressed up and carrying flowers and balloons. Everyone looked so happy and excited. Lisa kept looking around for Amy among all the graduates. There were hundreds of students in black caps and gowns, but finally she spotted Amy sitting with the other engineering students. Amy caught her eye and waved, and Lisa waved back with tears starting to form in her eyes. She was so proud she could barely contain herself. "There she is," Lisa whispered to Kevin, pointing toward Amy. "Look how grown up she looks." Kevin looked where Lisa was pointing, but he didn't say anything. He just nodded and then looked down at his hands. Kevin's mother, who was sitting next to Lisa, noticed Kevin's strange behavior too. "Kevin, honey, are you feeling all right?" his mother asked. "You've been very quiet today." "I'm fine, Mom," Kevin said, but his voice sounded strained. "Just a little tired from work." The ceremony began with music from the school band. The principal of the university gave a speech about the graduating class and how they were ready to go out into the world and make a difference. Lisa listened to every word, thinking about how this applied to Amy. Her daughter was going to be an engineer and help build things that would make people's lives better. When they started calling names for the engineering graduates, Lisa's heart started beating faster. She had her camera ready and was waiting for Amy's name to be called. Kevin's father had his phone out to record a video, and Kevin's mother was holding flowers they had brought for Amy. "Amy Rose Martinez," the announcer said, and Lisa's heart nearly exploded with joy. Amy walked across the stage with confidence, shaking hands with the dean and receiving her diploma. Lisa started crying and clapping as loud as she could. Kevin's parents were cheering too, and his father was holding up his phone to get a good video. Lisa looked over at Kevin to share this amazing moment with him, but he was just sitting there clapping slowly. He wasn't smiling or cheering like everyone else. He looked like he was somewhere else entirely, like his mind was far away from this special moment. "Kevin, did you see that?" Lisa asked, wiping tears from her eyes. "She did it. Our daughter just graduated college." "Yeah, I saw," Kevin said quietly. "That's great." Lisa felt confused by Kevin's reaction, but she didn't want to make a scene. Maybe he was just one of those people who didn't show emotions in public. She tried to focus on the rest of the ceremony and enjoy this special day. After all the names were called and the graduates threw their caps in the air, families started moving outside to take pictures and celebrate. The lawn in front of the auditorium was full of people hugging and taking photos. Lisa could see Amy looking around for them in the crowd. "There's Amy," Lisa said, pointing toward their daughter. "Let's go congratulate her." They all walked over to where Amy was standing, with some of her classmates. Amy ran over and hugged Lisa first, then her grandparents. When she got to Kevin, she hugged him too, but Lisa noticed that Kevin's hug was quick and awkward. "I can't believe I actually did it," Amy said, still holding her diploma. 4 years felt so long sometimes, but now it's over and I have my degree. "We're so proud of you, sweetheart," Lisa said, hugging Amy again. "You worked so hard for this." Kevin's parents were asking Amy about her job interviews and her plans for the future. Amy was telling them about 3 different companies that wanted to hire her, and how she was trying to decide which offer to accept. Lisa was listening and feeling so happy about Amy's bright future. But Kevin was standing off to the side looking at his phone again. Lisa was starting to get annoyed with his behavior. This was their daughter's graduation day, and he was acting like he didn't want to be there. "Kevin," Lisa said, walking over to him, "put your phone away and come talk to Amy. She wants to tell you about her job offers." "I heard her talking about it," Kevin said, but he did put his phone in his pocket. They spent about 30 minutes taking pictures on the lawn. Lisa took photos of Amy with her diploma, Amy with her grandparents, and family photos with everyone, together. But in every picture with Kevin, Lisa noticed that he looked uncomfortable or distracted. After taking pictures, Kevin's parents said they wanted to go back to their hotel to rest before dinner. They were older, and the excitement of the day had tired them out. They hugged Amy goodbye and said they would see everyone at the restaurant later. Lisa, Kevin, and Amy walked toward the parking lot together. Amy was telling them about her friends and their plans after graduation. Some were moving to different cities for jobs and others were staying in Denver. Amy seemed a little sad that her college friends were going to be scattered all over the country. "That's how life goes, honey," Lisa said. "You'll make new friends at your job, and you can always stay in touch with your college friends through phone calls and visits." As they got closer to their car, Kevin suddenly stopped walking. "Lisa, I need to talk to you for a minute," he said. "Can't it wait until we get home?" Lisa asked. "Amy's probably tired, and we need to get ready for dinner." "No, it can't wait," Kevin said, and something in his voice made Lisa feel scared. Amy looked at both her parents with confusion. "Is everything okay?" she asked. "Everything's fine, sweetheart," Lisa said, trying to keep her voice calm. "Your father just needs to tell me something. Why don't you go sit in the car and we'll be right there?" Amy looked like she wanted to ask more questions, but she could tell this was something private between her parents. She walked to the car and got in the back seat, but Lisa could see her watching them through the window. Kevin led Lisa a few steps away from the car, behind some other parked cars where Amy couldn't hear them clearly. "What's going on, Kevin?" Lisa asked. "You've been acting strange all day and now you're scaring me." Kevin looked down at the ground, then back up at Lisa. His face looked pale and his hands were shaking a little. "Lisa, I don't know how to say this," he began. "Just say it," Lisa said, her heart starting to beat faster. Kevin took a deep breath. "I'm leaving you," he said, the words coming out all at once like he had been holding them in all day. Lisa felt like someone had hit her in the stomach. "What did you say?" "I'm leaving you," Kevin repeated, this time more clearly. "I can't do this anymore. I haven't been happy for a long time." Lisa looked at Kevin like she had never seen him before. "Are you serious? Today? You're telling me this today on Amy's graduation day?" "I know the timing is bad," Kevin said, "but I couldn't keep pretending everything was okay. I've been thinking about this for months." "Months?" Lisa said, her voice getting louder. "You've been thinking about leaving me for months and you didn't say anything?" Lisa looked back at the car where Amy was sitting. She could see her daughter, looking worried and confused. This was supposed to be the happiest day of Amy's life, and Kevin was destroying it. "There's something else," Kevin said quietly. I've been seeing someone. Lisa felt like the world was spinning around her. You've been what? Her name is Susan, Kevin said. She works at my office. We've been together for about 8 months now. Susan. Lisa remembered that name. Susan Clark, the young woman who worked as the office manager at Kevin's accounting firm. Lisa had met her at the company Christmas party 6 months ago. She was probably 28 years old, with blonde hair and a bright smile. She had complimented Lisa's dress and asked about Amy's college plans. Susan Clark? Lisa asked, even though she already knew the answer. Kevin nodded. Yes, I'm sorry, Lisa. I never meant for this to happen, but I love her. Lisa felt like she couldn't breathe. 22 years of marriage, and Kevin was throwing it all away for a woman who was young enough to be his daughter. And he was telling her this on Amy's graduation day in a parking lot, surrounded by other families celebrating their children's achievements. You love her? Lisa repeated, the words sounding strange in her mouth. Yes, Kevin said. I'm moving in with her tonight. I already packed most of my things while you were at work yesterday. Lisa stared at Kevin, trying to understand how the man she had been married to for 22 years could be so cruel. He had planned this. He had packed his things behind her back, and he had chosen Amy's graduation day to tell her he was leaving. You already packed? Lisa asked. I couldn't keep living a lie, Kevin said. Susan and I want to be together, and we can't do that while I'm still married to you. Lisa looked back at Amy in the car. Her daughter was still watching them, and Lisa could see that Amy knew something was terribly wrong. This was supposed to be Amy's day, her moment to celebrate everything she had worked for, and Kevin was destroying it with his selfishness. Lisa stood in the parking lot feeling like her whole world was falling apart. Her legs felt weak and she thought she might fall down. 22 years of marriage, and Kevin was ending it all in a parking lot on their daughter's graduation day. She wanted to scream at him, to ask him how he could be so cruel. But then she looked at Amy sitting in the car. Amy was watching them through the car window, and Lisa could see the worry on her daughter's face. Amy had worked so hard for 4 years to get to this day. She had stayed up late studying, spent weekends in the lab, and pushed herself to graduate with the best grades in her class. This was Amy's day, and Lisa would not let Kevin ruin it for her. Lisa took a deep breath and tried to control her shaking hands. She felt like crying, but she knew she had to be strong for Amy. Her daughter deserved to have a perfect graduation day, no matter what Kevin was doing to their family. We are not discussing this right now, Lisa said to Kevin, her voice quiet but firm. Today is about Amy, and I will not let you destroy her graduation day. Lisa, we need to talk about this, Kevin said. I can't keep pretending. You've been pretending for 8 months already, Lisa said, anger starting to mix with her hurt. You can pretend for a few more hours until Amy's day is over. Kevin looked like he wanted to argue, but something in Lisa's eyes stopped him. Lisa had always been a gentle woman, but when it came to protecting Amy, she could be fierce. We're going to dinner with your parents and Amy, Lisa continued. We're going to celebrate our daughter's graduation. We're going to smile and act happy because that's what Amy deserves. Tomorrow we can talk about whatever you want to talk about, but today belongs to Amy. Lisa walked back to the car, her legs still shaky, but her determination strong. She opened the car door with a smile on her face, even though her heart was breaking inside. Sorry about that, sweetheart, Lisa said to Amy. Your father just needed to tell me about something at work. Amy looked at her mother carefully. Are you okay? Mom? You look upset. I'm just emotional about your graduation, Lisa said, and it wasn't entirely a lie. I can't believe my little girl is all grown up now. Kevin got in the driver's seat without saying anything. Lisa could see his hands were shaking too, but she didn't feel sorry for him. He had made his choice, and now he had to live with it. So, what do you want to do before dinner? Lisa asked Amy, forcing her voice to sound cheerful. We have about 2 hours before we meet your grandparents at the restaurant. Can we go home so I can change clothes? Amy asked. I want to wear something nice for dinner, and this dress is getting uncomfortable. Of course, Lisa said. That's a great idea. The drive home was quiet. Lisa tried to make conversation with Amy about her friends and her graduation, but she could tell Amy sensed something was wrong. Kevin didn't say a word during the entire drive. When they got home, Amy went upstairs to change clothes and call some of her friends. Lisa went to the bathroom and looked at herself in the mirror. Her face was pale and her eyes looked red, even though she hadn't cried yet. She splashed cold water on her face and took some deep breaths. She could hear Kevin moving around in their bedroom, probably getting the rest of his things like he had said. The thought made her stomach hurt, but she pushed the feeling away. She had to focus on Amy right now. Lisa went to the kitchen and started making Amy's favorite snacks for before dinner. She cut up some fruit and made the special sandwiches Amy had loved since she was little. Keeping her hands busy helped her not think about what Kevin had told her. Amy came downstairs wearing a pretty green dress that Lisa had bought her for job interviews. She looked so beautiful and grown up that Lisa almost started crying again. "You look perfect, honey," Lisa said, hugging Amy tight. "Thanks, Mom," Amy said. "I'm so excited about dinner. It feels like a real celebration now." Lisa heard Kevin coming down the stairs with a suitcase. Amy saw him too and looked confused. "Dad, why do you have a suitcase?" Amy asked. Kevin stopped at the bottom of the stairs looking like he didn't know what to say. Lisa quickly stepped in. "Your father has to go on a business trip tomorrow morning," Lisa said smoothly. "He's just getting his things ready so he doesn't have to pack tonight after dinner." Amy seemed to accept this explanation, but Lisa could tell she was still confused by her father's strange behavior all day. "Are you excited about dinner, Dad?" Amy asked Kevin. "Yes," Kevin said quietly. "Very excited." But he didn't look excited at all. He looked guilty and uncomfortable, like he wanted to be anywhere else. They all got back in the car to drive to the restaurant. Lisa had made reservations at Giovanni's, a nice Italian place that Amy had always loved. It was the same restaurant where they had celebrated Amy's high school graduation and her acceptance to college. Kevin's parents were already waiting at the restaurant when they arrived. They looked so happy and proud, and they immediately started talking to Amy about her graduation and her future plans. "We're so proud of you, Amy," Kevin's mother said, hugging her granddaughter. "You're the first person in our family to graduate from college with an engineering degree." "Thank you, Grandma," Amy said, smiling big. "I couldn't have done it without all your support." Lisa forced herself to smile and act normal during dinner. She asked Amy questions about her favorite classes and her professors. She laughed at Kevin's father's jokes and complimented Kevin's mother on her new dress. She played the part of the happy mother celebrating her daughter's graduation. But inside, she was dying. Every time she looked at Kevin, she remembered his words in the parking lot. "I'm leaving you, I love her." The words kept repeating in her head like a song she couldn't stop hearing. Kevin barely participated in the dinner conversation. He answered questions when people asked him directly, but mostly he just sat there looking uncomfortable. Amy kept glancing at him with worry, and Lisa could tell her daughter was starting to realize something was seriously wrong. "Dad, are you feeling sick?" Amy asked during the main course. "You've barely eaten anything." "I'm just not very hungry," Kevin said, "but I'm having a great time celebrating with you." His words sounded fake, and everyone at the table could tell. Kevin's parents looked at each other with concern, and Amy looked even more worried. Lisa decided she needed to do something to save the dinner. She stood up and raised her glass of wine. "I want to make a toast," she said, and everyone looked at her. To Amy, the smartest, hardest working, most amazing daughter any parent could ask for. "You've made us all so proud, and we can't wait to see what incredible things you do next." Everyone raised their glasses and said, "Cheers." Amy looked so happy that she was almost glowing. For a moment, Lisa forgot about Kevin's betrayal and just felt pure joy for her daughter. "Thank you, Mom," Amy said, tears starting to form in her eyes. "I love you so much." "I love you too, sweetheart," Lisa said, "more than you'll ever know." As they continued eating dinner, Lisa kept the conversation going. She asked Kevin's parents about their flight and their hotel. She talked about Amy's job interviews and helped Amy decide which offer she should accept. She made sure everyone felt included and happy. Kevin's phone buzzed several times during dinner, and each time he looked at it quickly and then put it away. Lisa knew it was probably Susan texting him, wondering where he was and when he was coming to her apartment. The thought made Lisa feel sick, but she didn't let it show on her face. After dinner, they ordered Amy's favorite dessert, chocolate cake with ice cream. The restaurant even brought out a special candle for Amy to blow out, and everyone sang a congratulations song. "Make a wish, honey," Lisa said as Amy prepared to blow out the candle. Amy closed her eyes, made her wish, and blew out the candle. Everyone clapped and cheered. "What did you wish for?" Kevin's mother asked. "I can't tell you or it won't come." "True," Amy said, laughing. "But it was a good wish." Lisa wondered what Amy had wished for. She hoped it was something about Amy's career and her bright future, not something about their family staying together. Because Lisa already knew that Amy's family was about to be torn apart, and there was nothing she could do to stop it. As they left the restaurant, Kevin's parents hugged everyone goodbye. They were flying back to Phoenix in the morning and wouldn't see Amy again until Christmas. "We're so proud of you, dear," Kevin's father said to Amy. "Call us when you decide which job to take." "I will, Grandpa," Amy said. "Thank you for coming to my graduation. It meant so much to me." Lisa hugged Kevin's parents too, wondering if this might be the last time she saw them. Once Kevin left her for Susan, would his parents still want to be part of her life? They had always been kind to her, but things would be different now. The drive home was quiet again. Amy was tired from the long day and she dozed off in the back seat. Lisa looked at her daughter sleeping peacefully and felt her heart break all over again. Amy had no idea that her family was about to fall apart. Tomorrow morning, Amy would wake up and her father would be gone, living with another woman. But tonight Amy was still happy. Tonight she was still a graduate celebrating with her family. And Lisa had made sure that Amy's graduation day stayed perfect, no matter what it cost her personally. When they got home, Amy hugged both her parents goodnight and went upstairs to call her friends and tell them about the dinner. Lisa stood in the hallway and watched her daughter go upstairs. What Kevin didn't know was that Lisa had been watching him carefully for the past 3 months. She wasn't stupid, and she had noticed all the signs that something was wrong with their marriage. The late nights at work, the new clothes, the way he spent extra time getting ready in the morning, and especially the secret phone calls. It had started in February when Kevin began working late almost every night. He would call Lisa around 5 o'clock and say he had to stay at the office to finish important work. But when Lisa called the office phone number to talk to him, no one answered. She thought maybe everyone had gone home and Kevin was there alone, but it still seemed strange. Then Kevin started buying new clothes. He had always been a simple dresser, wearing the same style of shirts and pants for years. But suddenly he was coming home with expensive shirts and new shoes. When Lisa asked him about it, he said he wanted to look more professional at work. The phone calls were what really made Lisa suspicious. Kevin would get text messages and phone calls at strange times, and he would always walk into another room to answer them. When Lisa asked who was calling, Kevin would say it was work or one of his friends. But Kevin had never been the type of person to talk on the phone a lot. In March, Lisa decided she needed to find out what was really going on. She felt bad about not trusting her husband, but something inside her told her that Kevin was lying about something important. First, Lisa started paying more attention to their money. She had always handled the bills and the bank accounts, so Kevin didn't think she would notice small changes. But Lisa noticed that Kevin was spending more money than usual. There were charges at restaurants she had never been to, charges at hotels, and even charges at jewelry stores. When Lisa asked Kevin about these charges, he always had an explanation. The restaurants were for business meetings. The hotels were for conferences. The jewelry was a surprise gift for Lisa's birthday that was still 2 months away. But Lisa's birthday came and went, and Kevin never gave her any jewelry. Lisa also started checking Kevin's clothes when he wasn't home. She found receipts in his pockets from expensive restaurants and stores. She found a credit card statement that Kevin had tried to hide showing charges at places Lisa had never heard of. Most shocking of all, she found a small piece of paper with a woman's phone number written on it, along with the name Susan and a little heart drawn next to it. By April, Lisa knew for sure that Kevin was having an affair, but she didn't confront him about it. Instead, she decided to be smart and protect herself and Amy. She had heard too many stories about women who found out about their husbands' affairs and ended up with nothing because they weren't prepared. Lisa's first step was to call her friend, Maria, who had gone through a divorce 2 years earlier. Maria gave Lisa the name of a private investigator named Tony Rodriguez. Tony specialized in helping women who suspected their husbands were cheating. "Don't feel bad about hiring an investigator," Maria told Lisa. "You need to know the truth, and you need evidence if Kevin tries to lie about what he's been doing." Lisa met with Tony at a coffee shop downtown. He was a kind man in his 50s who had been a police officer before becoming a private investigator. He told Lisa that many wives came to see him with the same story. "I see this all the time," Tony said. "Men think they're being clever, but they usually make the same mistakes. Don't worry, we'll find out exactly what your husband is doing and who he's doing it with." Tony's investigation took 2 weeks. He followed Kevin after work and took pictures of him meeting with a young blonde woman at various restaurants and hotels. He found out that the woman's name was Susan Clark and that she worked at Kevin's accounting firm as the office manager. Tony even recorded some phone conversations between Kevin and Susan where they talked about their relationship and their plans for the future. The hardest thing for Lisa to hear was a recording of Kevin telling Susan that he was going to leave Lisa right after Amy's graduation. He said he couldn't keep pretending to be happy in his marriage and that he wanted to start a new life with Susan. "I just have to get through Amy's graduation," Kevin had said to Susan in one phone call. "After that, I'll tell Lisa everything and move in with you. I can't wait to be with you all the time." Hearing those words broke Lisa's heart, but they also made her angry. Kevin was planning to destroy their family right after Amy's most important day. He was going to take away Amy's sense of security and stability just when she was starting her adult life. But the recordings also gave Lisa important information. She now knew exactly when Kevin was planning to leave, which meant she could prepare for it. Lisa's next step was to find a good divorce lawyer. Maria recommended a woman named Patricia Williams, who had a reputation for being tough and smart. Patricia had helped Maria get a fair settlement in her divorce, even though Maria's husband had tried to hide money and property. Lisa met with Patricia in her office downtown. Patricia was a small woman with gray hair, but she had sharp eyes and a confident voice that made Lisa feel safe. "The key to a successful divorce is preparation," Patricia told Lisa. "The more information you have about your husband's assets and behavior, the better position you'll be in when it comes time to negotiate." Patricia helped Lisa understand her rights under Colorado divorce law. She explained that Lisa was entitled to half of everything she and Kevin had earned during their marriage, including their house, their retirement accounts, and their savings. But Patricia also warned Lisa that Kevin might try to hide money or spend it on his girlfriend before the divorce was final. "Men who are having affairs often start moving money around," Patricia said. "They think they can hide assets from their wives, but there are ways to trace everything if you know what to look for." Lisa and Patricia spent several meetings going over all of Lisa and Kevin's financial information. Lisa brought bank statements, credit card bills, retirement account statements, and even the deed to their house. Patricia helped Lisa understand exactly what they owned and what it was worth. Patricia also helped Lisa start protecting their assets. They moved some money from joint accounts into accounts that only Lisa could access. They made sure that Kevin couldn't sell their house or take out loans against it without Lisa's permission. And they started documenting all of Kevin's spending on his affair. "By the time your husband realizes what's happening, it will be too late for him to hide anything," Patricia said. "You'll have all the evidence you need, and your assets will be protected." Throughout April and May, Lisa continued her secret preparations. She photocopied important documents and stored them at Maria's house where Kevin would never find them. She opened her own bank account and started saving money from her library job. She even talked to Amy's college financial aid office to make sure Amy's education funding would be secure no matter what happened with the divorce. The hardest part was acting normal around Kevin. Every day, Lisa had to pretend she didn't know about Susan. She had to smile and make dinner and talk about normal family things, all while knowing that Kevin was planning to destroy their family. Sometimes Lisa wanted to confront Kevin and tell him she knew everything. She wanted to scream at him for being a liar and a cheater. She wanted to throw him out of the house immediately and never see him again. But Patricia had advised her to wait until after Amy's graduation. If you confront him now, he might do something desperate, Patricia had said. He might try to take money and run, or he might make things difficult for Amy during her final weeks of college. It's better to wait until you have everything in place. So Lisa waited. She spent 2 months knowing that her husband was betraying her, but she stayed quiet and got ready for what was coming. Lisa also used this time to prepare herself emotionally. She started seeing a counselor named Dr. Sarah Kim, who helped her understand that Kevin's affair was not her fault. Dr. Kim helped Lisa realize that she was a strong, capable woman who could build a good life for herself and Amy, even without Kevin. You've been a good wife and mother for 22 years, Dr. Kim told Lisa. Kevin's choices don't change the fact that you're a valuable person who deserves to be treated with respect. By the time Amy's graduation day arrived, Lisa was ready for whatever Kevin was going to tell her. She had evidence of his affair, she had a lawyer, she had protected their money, and she had prepared herself emotionally for the end of her marriage. When Kevin told her in the parking lot that he was leaving her for Susan, Lisa felt hurt and angry, but she wasn't surprised. She had known this moment was coming for weeks. What Kevin didn't realize was that while he had been planning his escape, Lisa had been planning her defense, and her plan was much better than his plan. The morning after Amy's graduation, Kevin would discover just how well Lisa had prepared for this day. The next morning, Kevin arrived at the house with several moving boxes and a big smile on his face. He thought Lisa would be at work at the library like she was every Sunday morning. He planned to quickly pack the rest of his things and be gone before she came home. Then he could start his new life with Susan without having to face any more difficult conversations with Lisa. But when Kevin opened the front door with his key, he was shocked to see Lisa sitting calmly at the kitchen table. She was drinking coffee and reading something that looked like legal papers. She looked up at him with a small smile on her face. "Good morning, Kevin," Lisa said in a voice that sounded strangely calm. "You're up early." Kevin stood in the doorway, holding his boxes, not sure what to say. "I thought you would be at work," he finally said. "I called in sick today," Lisa said. "I thought we should have a conversation before you move out." Kevin set his boxes down by the door and walked slowly into the kitchen. Something about Lisa's calm behavior made him nervous. He had expected her to be crying or angry, but instead she seemed almost relaxed. "Lisa, I know you're upset about yesterday," Kevin said, sitting down across from her at the table. "But I think this is better for both of us. We haven't been happy for a long time." "You're right," Lisa said, which surprised Kevin. "We haven't been happy. But I don't think we have the same idea about why that is." Lisa slid a thick stack of papers across the table to Kevin. "These are for you," she said. Kevin looked down at the papers and saw the words, "Petition for Dissolution of Marriage" at the top. His face went pale as he realized these were divorce papers. "What is this?" Kevin asked, his voice getting louder. "When did you file these?" "Yesterday afternoon," Lisa said calmly. "Right after I dropped Amy off at her friend's house. I thought it was important to get the process started as quickly as possible." Kevin started flipping through the papers and his face got redder with each page he read. "You can't just file for divorce without talking to me first," he shouted. "Actually, I can," Lisa said, taking a sip of her coffee. "And I did. Keep reading. There's some interesting information in there." As Kevin continued reading, his shouting got louder and angrier. The papers contained details about his affair with Susan Clark, including dates, times, and places where they had met. There were photographs of Kevin and Susan kissing outside restaurants and holding hands in hotel parking lots. There were copies of credit card statements showing Kevin's spending on Susan, including expensive dinners, hotel rooms, and jewelry. "How did you get all this?" Kevin screamed, standing up so fast his chair fell over. "You had me followed. You spied on me." "I protected myself," Lisa said, still speaking in that calm voice. "When I noticed you were lying to me about where you were going and who you were with, I hired a professional to find out the truth." Kevin was pacing around the kitchen now, waving the papers in the air. "This is crazy, Lisa. You can't spy on your own husband." "I can when my husband is cheating on me and spending our family's money on another woman," Lisa said. "And speaking of money, you should look at page 15. Kevin flipped to page 15 and his face went completely white. The page showed a detailed accounting of all the money Kevin had spent on his affair over the past 8 months. Dinners, hotels, gifts, and even a weekend trip to Las Vegas that Kevin had told Lisa was a business conference. The total amount was $37,000. $37,000, Kevin, Lisa said. "That's how much of our family's money you spent on Susan Clark. Money that should have been saved for Amy's future or for our retirement. That money was mine too," Kevin yelled. "I work hard for that money." "You're absolutely right," Lisa said. "It was your money too. But when you spend marital assets on an affair, the law considers that dissipation of assets, which means you owe me half of that money back." Kevin stared at Lisa like he had never seen her before. "Since when do you know about dissipation of assets?" "Since I hired Patricia Williams to be my divorce attorney," Lisa said. "She's very good at her job. She helped me understand exactly what my rights are." Kevin sat back down heavily in his chair. "You hired a lawyer?" 3 months ago, Lisa said. Right around the time you started telling me you were working late every night. But when I called your office, no one was there." Kevin's hands were shaking now as he continued reading the divorce papers. "Lisa, this is insane. We can work this out. We don't need lawyers." "Oh, but we do need lawyers," Lisa said, "especially since you've been planning to leave me for months without giving me any warning. Did you really think I would just let you walk away with half of everything after you spent thousands of dollars on another woman?" Kevin flipped to another page and his face got even paler. "What is this about the house?" "The house is in my name," Lisa said. "Remember 3 years ago when we refinanced to get a better interest rate? Our accountant suggested putting the house in just my name for tax purposes. You thought it was a great idea. But I live here too," Kevin said. "I pay the mortgage." "You used to live here," Lisa corrected him. "And actually, I've been paying the mortgage for the past 4 months. Check your bank statements. You've been so busy spending money on Susan that you forgot to contribute to the household expenses." Kevin was quiet for a moment, trying to remember when he had last written a check for the mortgage or utilities. Lisa was right. He had been so focused on impressing Susan and planning his new life that he had stopped taking care of his responsibilities at home. "What about my retirement account?" Kevin asked. "Your retirement account is safe," Lisa said. "I'm entitled to half of what you earned during our marriage, but I'm not trying to take everything from you. I just want what's fair." Kevin looked at the papers again and saw another section that made him angry. "It says here that you moved money out of our joint savings account. You can't do that." "I moved the money to protect it," Lisa said. "After I found out you were spending thousands of dollars on Susan, I was worried you might try to empty our savings account before you left me. So I moved it to a separate account where it would be safe until we can divide it fairly." "You had no right to do that," Kevin screamed. "I had every right," Lisa said firmly. "I'm not going to let you steal our family's savings to fund your affair." Kevin stood up again and started pacing. "This is unbelievable, Lisa. I never thought you would do something like this. I never thought you would have an affair with a woman young enough to be your daughter," Lisa said. "But people change, don't they?" Kevin stopped pacing and looked at Lisa with anger in his eyes. "Fine. You want to fight? We'll fight. I'll get my own lawyer and we'll see who wins." "You should definitely get a lawyer," Lisa said. "You're going to need one, especially when you see what else is in those papers." Kevin sat down and kept reading. On page 23, he found a section that made his heart sink. It was a recording transcript of a phone conversation between Kevin and Susan from 2 weeks ago, where Kevin had said terrible things about Lisa and Amy. In the conversation, Kevin had called Lisa boring and stupid, and said he couldn't wait to get away from her. He had even complained about having to attend Amy's graduation, saying it was just another thing I have to pretend to care about before I can start my real life. "You recorded my phone calls?" Kevin asked. his voice now quiet and scared. Tony, Rodriguez is very good at his job, Lisa said. And Kevin, Amy is going to read those transcripts. She's going to see exactly what you really think about her and her graduation. Kevin's face crumpled. Lisa, please don't show those to Amy. I didn't mean what I said. I was just frustrated. You meant every word, Lisa said. And Amy deserves to know who her father really is. Kevin put his head in his hands. What do you want from me, Lisa? I want you to sign these papers and agree to a fair divorce settlement, Lisa said. I want you to pay back the money you spent on your affair, and I want you to understand that your actions have consequences. And if I don't sign? Kevin asked. Then we go to court, Lisa said. And a judge gets to hear all about your affair, see all the evidence, and decide how to divide our assets. Patricia tells me that judges don't usually look favorably on husbands who cheat on their wives and spend family money on their girlfriends. Kevin was quiet for a long time, reading through all the papers and realizing how much trouble he was. And Lisa had evidence of everything. She had protected their money and property. She had a good lawyer. And she had been planning this for months while Kevin thought he was being clever. I can't believe you did all this behind my back, Kevin finally said. I learned from the best, Lisa said. You taught me how to keep secrets and make plans without telling your spouse. Kevin looked at Lisa and saw a woman he didn't recognize. The gentle, trusting wife he had been married to for 22 years was gone. In her place was a strong, smart woman who had outplayed him at his own game. When did you become so cold? Kevin asked. When my husband of 22 years told me he was leaving me for another woman in a parking lot on our daughter's graduation day, Lisa said. That's when I realized I had to take care of myself because you certainly weren't going to. Kevin sat at the kitchen table for another hour, reading through all the papers and realizing he had no choice but to sign them. Lisa had thought of everything. She had protected herself and Amy.